Oh, this is Edith. How are you doing? And I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. Today I want to introduce this video that I watched. Was putting out there by Del Bigtree. I think his name is Bigtree. Yeah, Del Bigtree. And he was talking, having an interview with Zach Bush. If you have never listened to Zach Bush, you need to. He is very, very good. He's an environmentalist and he is a very good steward of this earth. In Genesis 1, and let me look it up. Genesis 1, you can go there. 18, it says, or actually it's just one, I'm not there yet. It says in 28, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb. No, that's not either. 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. That was God's mandate. I don't want to say commandment, but a mandate to the human being. And remember, if you are familiar with my book, the first human being was a man and a woman. Genesis tells you that right there, a little bit before that. He says, God created humankind in his likeness, and he made them male and female. It says this, in 27, matter of fact, just before that. That's what it says. So God created man in his own image, man as in humankind. You check that original text, it means humankind, not man as in male. He created humankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. And then in 28, and God blessed them, and God said into them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth on the earth. That was the mandate. And I'm telling you right now, we miserably failed. And when you watch this interview with Zach, what's his name again? I keep forgetting what his last name is. Zach Bush, you understand why. And you always also understand why we're having right now this pandemic. I encourage you to go and watch this interview. We were told to be stewards of the earth. Now, when we go back to it, it says dominion, have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Every living thing does not include our fellow human beings. Okay? It means animals only, and plants. The man and the woman was instructed to have dominion over every living thing, not each other. And I need to stress that before I continue. Dominion does not mean you are exploiting what God has created. Dominion means you have good stewardship. I know because of the fall, you can go back to some of my videos that I made. I made a specific video about the fall, the creation and the fall of humankind. And we know that humankind became extremely corrupt after the fall. They became sinful. They became selfish. And that's when we have this idea that dominion means we're going to rule over not only this world, but rule over each other. No, that's not what God says. Number one, he says, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Does that mean overfill it? No, it says replenish. We have to understand what enough is enough. Okay, we need to understand how much resources do we have and how much human beings can we create. How many human beings die? How long do we want to live? That's what management is. And we truly manage the earth. And people, we have not done that. We are exploiting the earth. We don't think about, hello, all the stuff we're taking out of this earth. Oh no, as long as I can get more and more and more and more and more and more. As long as I can create more and more and more children. No, people, there is a limit to how much population we can have. And good stewardship means we know what the room every human being needs. That's good stewardship. And what we have done, we have exploited our earth. And maybe not all of us, but we were kind of ignorant that the people higher up that are providing our food have exploited the earth. At this point, we have destroyed our ground through the pesticides. That's what Zach is saying. We have destroyed our ground, and that's why we have too much CO2 in the air, because the ground cannot take up this CO2. Now, everybody knows that the trees are the ones that are taking up the CO2, right? And changing it into oxygen. That's what we learned. It's this basic knowledge that we learn in school, probably in first grade. Okay? Now, if you have forgotten that, that's sorry. I'm sorry. Okay? But that's basic knowledge. That the trees, the plants are producing our oxygen and are taking in CO2. What happens when we cut down all the trees and we build it all up? Well, we don't get CO2. But he says, Zach said, that the ground also takes in the CO2. And when we destroy the ground, of course, we're destroying the plants as well. But we also have more CO2 in the air. But that's not the only thing. He was talking about something very shocking. How much animals we kill every year for food. Now, all these animals that we need for food, they create CO2 as well. Make no mistake. And the elite know that they create CO2. And what are they right now doing? They're trying to get people to limit the intake of meat. They're trying to get the people to limit the amount of meat they're eating. Our governor here in Colorado was trying to have a meatless day. I don't remember when it was, in April or in March. And people, I guess, didn't care about it too much. He's already lied too much to us, I guess. So that didn't go over very well. But yeah, it's hard to get that in human beings to limit their, meat intake. That's something that was ingrained in us to believe, hello, if we want to do well, we're going to eat meat. The steak is almost the gauge for our how well we're doing for wealth. If we're eating more and more steak, we're more wealthy. That's already what had become the gauge. But if we're going like that, people, we cannot have as many people in this world. Because if all these people in this world want to eat the same way, then we need more and more animals, and we have to kill more and more animals. And these animals are all producers of CO2. So then we are producing animals to the extent that maybe this earth cannot handle. So there is a limit of the resources we're having, and if we're good stewards, we have to make sure we're staying within these resources. And I'll tell you right now, this is something we need to be very concerned about. Why? Because the things that we're creating are also causing us to have more of those, pandemics. Are they really pandemics? I mean, he showed clearly that really only the older people died. And they died most likely because they were on a lot of medications anyways from the get-go. Okay? On the get-go, their immune system was already damaged. In other words, they didn't live in harmony with the environment. They lived too much on this created technology or this fake medical system. Yes, medical system is fake. We're not living with the earth like we're supposed to. God gave us, let's continue to read. And God said, and that's in 29, behold, I give you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. And to you it shall be for meat. It didn't say eat the animals. It says, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Do you understand? Nobody ate each other. Nobody ate each other. Human beings didn't eat animals, and animals didn't eat each other. Okay. So what happened? Obviously something went horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. That now we have to eat each other. Okay? And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And even in the morning were the sixth day. We have gone wrong. Humankind has gone wrong. Humankind has devastated for thousands of years this earth. And every so many times, God has to clean it up again, like he did with the flood. He has to clean it because we are becoming so evil that we're also affecting all of creation with our evilness. God wanted us to live in harmony. God wanted us to live in harmony with creation, with everything that he made. And what are we doing? We are creating fake, synthetic life. Fake, synthetic healing potions. God has given us what? The herbs of the ground, the fruits, okay? The trees, the seeds. He gave us those things for our healing. That's what he wanted us to use for healing. And thousands of years, that's what they used. They ate the good food that would also heal them and replenish them and keep them living for a long time. And what do we have? What do we create? We created synthetic herbs, which is our medicine. It's synthetic, people. It's not real. It's not what God has created. It's something that was created in a chemical lab. It's poison. And our old people are starting, old people, that's people like me, start taking medications for this and that. Why? Because they have lived unhealthy lives for forever. And then the doctors are saying, oh, I got something for you. Oh, you got high blood pressure. Here is something you can use. Oh, you got high sugar or whatever. Here is something you can use. And every medication they give you have side effects, and they give you more medication. And by the time you're 80 years old, you have a whole slew of medications. And you're kept alive synthetically. And then, when there's this virus coming, okay, that your body cannot handle anymore, then people are freaked out because people die. Now, did you know that naturally these viruses, we have lived with these viruses for thousands of years? Yes, people. This Zach has said that the same thing. Okay? For thousands of years, we're living in harmony with the viruses. We're living in harmony with bacteria. Our body needs these viruses. This life needs the viruses. But of course, when our body's immune system is damaged, then the immune system is damaged and it will cause death. And when this body decays already with you still alive, okay, it already starts decaying. Then these viruses are coming in, and what they have to do is really destroy the body. Okay? It's their job. It's their job to take over and put an end to a miserable life. And we do not understand that anymore. Why? Because we're living in a synthetic world. We're living in a technological world that is already inhuman or unnatural. It will not take much longer before humankind is also synthetic or hybrid. Partly human and partly synthetic. Doesn't take much longer. If they continue to put this stuff into our system that they are creating right now called the vaccine, okay, that's what's going to happen. And we don't have to be surprised when it happens. If we cannot live in harmony with nature and be a good steward, that's what's going to happen. When we are exploiting the world, we're creating all this trash and have no place to put it anywhere. What do you expect? What do you really expect? Now, luckily, people, and that's why I'm always telling you, please pray for the return of the Savior. Please pray for the return of Messiah. Because what will happen during the 1,000-year reign of Messiah? You think we're going to continue like this? You think we're going to use these fake, synthetic means of keeping us alive? No. What does the Bible say in Revelation? Revelation, I think it's in 22. It says that when this city comes down that Jesus is creating right now, the New Jerusalem, there will be a tree, or there will be trees that bear fruit, and the leaves will be used for the healing of the nations. Okay? I could go there right now. It will take a while. But I think it's in Genesis 22. Not Genesis, sorry. Revelation 22. 22. Okay? I'm going to stop my video real short. And all right, here it is. Revelation 22. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manners of fruits, and yielded her fruits every month. And the leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. Okay? That's where it is. So when Jesus returns, he will heal this earth. And we will go back exactly to where we are supposed to be. We will be good stewards. We will work the ground. And we will make sure that we will not exploit the earth. And Jesus himself will teach us how to do that. How we will be good stewards of the earth. How we will not continue to kill animals and eat what we were supposed to eat. And no more synthetic medications. But the leaves of the tree of life, will keep us healthy. Now, I think that will be a glorious time when that happens. Now, this Zach, he believes that we could go back and really become good stewards of the earth. But I don't believe so. For 6,000 years, if we believe in biblical history, humankind was not even capable of not exploiting the earth, not exploiting each other, not exploiting the animals. We're not capable because we're fallen creatures. And as long as we're not following Jesus completely, and we're trusting in a political system that Satan made, Satan is the one who is controlling our political world systems. As long as he does that, he is in the business of destroying everything that God has made. Everything. Not only humankind, but he wants to destroy this earth. He wants to have it ruined. Absolutely ruined. He wants animals to be ruined. He wants animals to be wild and evil. Well, animals are not evil. But they're messed up. Why? Because we're messed up. Because human beings who are supposed to be ruling or having dominion over animals are messed up. That's why. But if we want to change something, people, which it is time, we need to change something, because the things that are happening right now will continue. And God is extremely upset. He's getting ready to again destroy this earth because we're not capable of taking care of it. Luckily, people, we have Jesus returning. Luckily, the time of humankind is almost over. Luckily, I can just say luckily, people. Because if it wouldn't be over, oh my goodness, maybe we would destroy this earth altogether. If God would not intervene pretty soon, I feel sorry. Well, maybe, earth would clean itself again, just like it did in the past. Okay, we'll just run into, we'll create our own wars, so we limit the number of people we have, and we'll start all over again. Because we're too dumb to realize what we're doing. You know, so many people think, oh, we need to replenish the earth. We can have as many kids as we want. No, that's not true. It's not true. And people get upset when the elite want to reduce our population. Now, I don't think it's right to reduce the population either. I cannot just kill people. I have to put something in place ahead of time so that the number of the people in this world are not exceeding the number that we can, this earth cannot tolerate. Okay? If all people want to have wealth, well, people, guess what? We have to limit the amount of people. It's just the way it is. But I'm coming to an end. Watch this video with Zach. I just cannot say it as good as he does. He is the environmentalist, and he has studied these things. I'm just using what he's saying and putting them into a biblical context, which I do a lot with things. Okay? Give it a biblical perspective. Now, before I close, I really have to say something about some of these people commented on my last video. They said, oh, I was screaming and they couldn't hear me screaming anymore. And they felt guilty or something. People, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get very emotional. And I don't get emotional all the time. But sometimes I do. Why? Because you know what? Some of these topics that I'm talking about are very serious. Very serious. And people don't want to wake up. Like, for instance, that we have so many false teachers that are deceiving baby Christians, or even people that are trying to make a decision for Jesus. Okay, they're so close to make a decision, but these wild, bad, false teachers are snatching them away and misleading them. That's why I get angry. We're not waking up. That's why I get angry. I get angry because the time is near for God's wrath and people are not waking up. And I see them getting lost. It makes me feel very, very sad. Very sad. Very worried. So anyways, I think this is a topic that I'm kind of worried about too. But again, I'm not that worried because I have known that people are just fallen creatures. And they have messed up and exploited this world for 6,000 years. And we're not getting it together. We don't. We don't get it together, people. We're lazy. Do you hear my emotions? Why am I getting upset? Because people are lazy. It's not what God called us to do, to be lazy and sitting in our tushies. He wants us to go out there and subdue the earth, not exploit it. Make a living. Be good stewards. Not sit at home watching video games or, playing video games or whatever. It's not what he expects us to do. He wants us to make a living and be good stewards and use our resources. But I'm coming to an end right now, people. Let the Holy Spirit guide you always.